Well, we all know the mining industry has had a rough ride these past couple of years with metal prices dipping near production costs, but who better to get the real boots on the ground sentiment than from the two stars of the hit series Gold Rush on Discovery? We have with us today Dave Turn and Freddie Dodge. Thanks so much for being with us, guys.
Well, you're welcome. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for the invite.
So guys, before we start, just full disclosure, I'm a huge fan of the show, so I am a little starstruck today. And I caught the first episode last week, which basically kicked off the new season. We find you guys working up in Canada in Yukon. Now, last season we saw you guys in South America, and we know how that went down.
Can we just not get to that? Let's just skip over Guyana and move on.
Get some white out on your
We'll
sheet
get to
there.
that in a bit. We'll get to it in a bit. But first, Freddie, let's start with you. Why did you bring back Dave Turn to be part of your organization? What's it like working with him?
Oh, Dave's great. Dave's great to work with. I mean, he can operate equipment like no other. He's a pleasure. He's got a lot of experience with equipment, with moving material, and there's nobody I'd rather have helping us. We're a lean, mean operation.
Thanks, Freddie. I'll get you that $100 next week.
It was 200, Dave.
Oh, dang it.
It was 100 per compliment. I gave you two big compliments there, Dave.
And Dave, what was it like working with the Dodge brothers this season?
Oh, I love Freddie Dodge, and it was great to be working with Derek. They're just great guys, good miners. And it was fun, because where we are with Freddie, where we were mining, it's a small little narrow canyon. So it takes special skills. I mean, we're kind of boxed in. It's a real tight little valley, and it's a tight group of guys. So you have to problem solve in a different way. So it was fun, and I love a challenge. So I really enjoyed this year. And
let's talk CarMax. Turns out to be the best ground any Gold Rush crew has ever mined. So congrats on that. Also, such great genius ideas that we saw on the first episode, which really gave you guys a head start on the operations, removing the layer of ice. Whose idea was that to create the ice dam, and how did you come up with it?
That was Derek's idea. He'd done it years ago, and it works extremely well. I mean, you take advantage of everything nature's going to give you, so that water and that ice and the steepness of that valley, you're just using that as a conveyor belt to get that material down the mountain for you. Instead of having to burn diesel fuel to get that material off the mountain and down into your settling ponds, you're letting nature and gravity do it for you. It was the most cost-effective way to get it out.
And it was also eco-friendly?
I've been getting grief on Twitter and on Facebook that I'm destroying glaciers, or that we're destroying glaciers, but actually it was just a winter glacier, and it would have melted out on its own. It would have probably been August, but it would have eventually melted out. So we weren't destroying any permanent glaciers in there.
And the other thing what you did not see is there was a settling pond down below. And so it looked dramatic, but in the end, it wasn't as dramatic. It didn't impact the bottom part of the creek.
And it's really amazing to see the synergy and the chemistry that you have on the show. But let's talk gold price now. Obviously, this is something you follow closely.
I'll usually check your website when I have access to it anyway, 2 to 3 times a day, because I've made my living off gold for a long time, and I know Dave checks it too.
What else is there to do in Hawaii? I just carry my computer around and check Kitco News, check the price every day, every hour.
And thank you for making me smile with that plug. But Freddie and Dave, do you think that the current price is fair? You obviously know how much work goes into mining an ounce of gold. So where do you think it should be sitting at?
I think it should be up. I don't understand it. I mean, I really think it should be. I mean, we're using up our gold supply. All the good, easy gold has been taken. Gold is getting harder and harder, more difficult, more expensive to mine. And I think the price has to start to reflect that, because we're still consuming it.
Now, many geologists I've interviewed this past year have said, look, we've just reached peak discovery. What's your take on that?
Well, I think just like Dave said, the easy gold's mainly gone. There's, the world's been walked over pretty good, and Dave will attest to this. Like, even in the middle of the rainforest, where you'd think nobody's been, there's people prospecting everywhere. And so the easy stuff's gone, and the stuff that's left is mainly huge equipment, huge manpower, and you know, not much per ton maybe, but you're moving a tremendous amount of material to get that gold. So, you know, I can only see if that keeps up, gold should keep going up.
And speaking of South America, sorry to bring it up, but we all know that it's common to have misses in the mining industry. It's a big gamble. So have you recovered from what happened in South America?
We can't recover. I'm still scarred. Look at Freddie. Freddie used to be like 6 foot tall. He went to Guyana, he comes back, he's like 5'5" now.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. It burnt 10 3/4 inches off my height. The sun. It's just a tough deal down there. And that's the thing about gold. You think you've got it all figured out, and then you try something different and you learn that you don't have it all figured out. Something is going to reach out and bite you.
That's what we are, though, as risk takers. We really thought we had an opportunity to go there and find a good amount of gold. What you didn't see was that Freddie prospected some pretty amazing ground. And when we came back after we had everything set up, there was miners in there on that ground and mining. Lots of them, and they didn't know how to mine.
And where that ground is that Dave's talking about, it was a lot more conducive to the equipment we brought down there. There was rock there. We could have built roads and so forth and so on, but where we had to go, we didn't have any of that.
I didn't mean to dig up old wounds, Freddie and Dave, so my apologies. But before I let you go, just some final thoughts for our viewers of what they can look forward to this season on Gold Rush.
A lot of gold.
Yeah. You'll see more gold on Gold Rush this year than we've ever seen. I truly believe, and I'm not the only one, that this is going to be the best Gold Rush season ever.
And one more question, Freddie. If there's one thing you could tell Dave right now on camera that you didn't have the chance to say on the Discovery Channel, what would it be?
Just keep it up, Dave. Love you.
Whatever you do, don't ask Freddie about his previous career.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
They outlawed that, Dave.
I know.
Okay, I won't ask any more questions. On that note, I see the brotherly love. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you Fridays at 9 p.m. on the Discovery Channel.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome.
And thanks for watching this edition of Kitco News with the Gold Rush guys, Freddie and Dave. Be sure to catch them for a brand new season, Fridays at 9 p.m. on the Discovery Channel. In the meantime, email us any comments or questions at newsfeedback@kitco.com. Thanks for watching.